Hello guys, it's me, Maverick Lee. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about Chinese food. So, there's nothing Chinese about the Chinese food in the West. Do you know that? There's nothing Chinese about the Chinese food in the West except possibly the people serving it. Now, I speak with experience. I've been to China. Have you been to China? I've been to China. I've traveled all around China. Have you traveled all around China? I'm telling you, there's nothing Chinese about the Chinese food in the West. Now, this blew my mind actually, because I remember when I first went to China, I was like, I can't wait for this. I cannot wait. I'm gonna stuff my face. And the first restaurant I went in, I said, can I have some king prawn chow mein, please? And apart from the guy saying, Timbudong, which means, I don't understand, I was like, So I got my phone out. I was like, king prawn chow mein. Showed the king prawn chow mein on the translation. He's like, Timbudong. I was like, what the heck is this? What the heck is this? What do you mean, Timbudong? What is Timbudong? I just want my king prawn chow mein. Anyways, didn't even know what king prawn chow mein was. So I said, sweet and sour chicken. He said, you guessed it, Timbudong. I said, Hong Kong style sweet and sour chicken. Showed him it. You guessed right. Guess what he said? Timbudong. I was like, what is this? Is this a joke? Is this a prank or something? I go inside the next restaurant. I said, excuse me, can I have some king prawn chow mein, please? He said, you guessed it, Timbudong. I said, could I have some Hong Kong style sweet and sour chicken, please? You guessed it, Timbudong. So I got my phone out. I was like, I typed beef and black bean sauce. I said, could I get some beef and black bean sauce, please? Timbudong. I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? What has happened? You know, this wasn't part of the plan. I was planning on going to China and returning 20 stones heavier. That's how much I was planning on stuffing my face with delicious, incredible Chinese food. After that, I shortly realized all the popular foods in the West don't even exist. They don't even exist in China. They don't even exist. Now, the closest thing that I found to chow mein, as they call it in the West, is rice noodles, which isn't even chow mein, it's rice noodles. And there's some flavors which are similar, but it's total different dishes. When you find sweet and sour, and you're looking for sweet and sour chicken, you can't find sweet and sour chicken, but you can find, which is very, very difficult, but you can find it, is sweet and sour pork. Now, if you say, can I swap the pork for chicken? They'll refuse. So this blew my mind. So guys, if you're going to China, it's not what you think. It's not what you're expecting. Now, this really, really got to me because I remember in the West, just like most foreigners, or as they say in China, just like most Lawai or Ragoren, we love Chinese food. We love Chinese food. It's our favorite food, in fact, almost. It's either, usually, on average, it's Chinese or Italian. But I would say probably Chinese, because Chinese have more variety. They have more options in the West. And let me tell you, there's none of that stuff over in China. It's very, very difficult to find any of that. In fact, what blew my mind even more is, in China, do you know, most people don't even like sweet and sour. They don't even like sweet. They don't even like sour. They don't even like sweet and sour. So most Chinese people, they prefer strong. They prefer spicy. Even the tea they like it strong. No sugar, no honey. Just strong black tea, you know? Chinese tea. Don't know if you've tried Chinese tea, but it's different to Western tea, as you can imagine. But yeah, so they even have the tea strong, just completely natural, nothing else added, just hot water. They're like spicy, everything's spicy. Now usually it's the Sichuan province which specializes in spicy. I doubt there is even somebody in Sichuan who doesn't like spicy because everything's spicy. If you go to a bakery or you go get a dessert, some kind of cake or something, most likely it's covered in some type of pork with spice. Either some spice or the pork's a little spicy, or it's strong tasting. So you go to get a sweet dessert, a sweet cake or something, and usually it's got like pork sprinkling on the top. It's like very, very thin, fine pork. Most people are unaware that it is even pork, but it is. So yeah, so if you're going to China, bear this in mind. It is not what you think. The Chinese food from the West does not exist there. It's very, very, very difficult to find it. And yeah, that's all, guys. I just want to talk about that because I think it's quite an important thing and it shocked me to the core. It really, really surprised me. Now, surprisingly, believe it or not, it's not just Chinese food which is being changed and adapted to the Western taste, but also Indian food is the same. When you go to India, it's almost impossible to find Indian food like what you find in the West. All the food in India is also very spicy. They really love spice. They really love the hotness, the spices and stuff, you know. So, for example, chicken korma, chicken tikka masala, prawn curry, stuff like this is very difficult to find in India too. You have to bear this in mind. You have to bear this in mind when you travel the world, that you've got to adapt to where you are because, you know, people don't just suit your taste everywhere. Everywhere's got their own culture, their own unique styles, their own unique foods. And by no means am I dissing Chinese food in China. And by no means am I dissing Indian food in India. I love all food. I love it all. I like the uniqueness. This is what makes different cultures and countries special. Actually, when you travel, you get to taste the local cuisine. But I'm just saying, for you guys who are in the West or who've never actually been to China before and are planning going to China and are planning on getting stuffed and gaining 12 stone like I was, then just bear in mind, it's not what you think. It's totally different. China has some incredible food, some delicious foods, but to me, you cannot beat the Chinese Western food. The Chinese foods in China have to be. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not the healthiest. They're not cooked in the healthiest of oils. I don't even know where they find this oil in most of the dishes. But it's no olive oil. It's no extra virgin olive oil. Let's put it that way. But it still can't be as bad as the Western Chinese food, because in the Western Chinese food, it has so much sugar, so much sweetener, so much dye involved. So yeah, just bear that in mind, guys. But when it comes to taste, as a Rigoran, as a Lawai, foreigner, it is the best in the West. That's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you found this video interesting. Leave your comments below and your thoughts or your experiences. Do not forget, please like this video and please subscribe. It means a lot, guys. Take care.